interrupt your news programming on WTTW. This is a national emergency. Important guidelines will follow. The following message has been transmitted by request from the Federal Bureau Investigation, the NTSB, the Union Pacific, Conrail, Chessie System, Norfolk and Western and Seaboard System Board of Directors. At 1:15 a.m. Central Daylight Time, thousands of 911 calls reported fiery chain reactions of head-on and rear-end collisions near the Taylorville Junction. Details are scarce at this time, so no action is required yet. Stay tuned for further updates. Hazardous materials warning. The following message has been transmitted by request of the Federal Bureau Investigation, the Bureau for Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms, NTSB, Operation Lifesaver, and Illinois Department of Public Safety. At 1:24 a.m. Central Daylight Time, the following items were confirmed on trains 139, 1433, 31, 77, 641, and 2354. Train 139's cargo was all auto racks. Trains 1433 and 2354 were both westbound and eastbound coal trains. 641's cargo was a 193-car mixed manifest, and 3177's consist of 60 hazardous material cars. One of every placard. A mandatory evacuation has been placed. Stay tuned for further updates. Regular programming has been discontinued for duration of this message. Stay tuned for further updates. Train 3177's cargo was reported to have the following materials: mercury fulminate, detonating booster, cyclogen, a 60-foot 120 pounds Gal-2-mer warhead, a 112.5-foot 225 pounds Spring-Giffimer warhead, flash grenades, Molotov cocktails, ammonium filtrate, flammable and toxic projectiles, phosphorus explosives, black powder, gunpowder, blasting powder, nitroglycerin, propane, gasoline, nitrocellulose, red and white phosphorus, calcium carbide, sodium chloride, glycerin, mercury hydroxide, arsenic, hypodermic needles, uranium-238, nitric acid, dry ice, and sodium hydroxide. Last warning before impact. I repeat, last warning before the cargo explodes. Fallout shelters are available. Fallout is a product of nuclear attacks. Prolonged exposure to fallout will result in certain death. Fallout spreads 1 minute after impact. Tune to 1640 FM on your radio dial for later statements from FBI and NTSB officials. Stay tuned on your updates as the story develops. The NTSB has confirmed no warheads on board any of the 5 trains. Although 3177's freight consisted of mostly explosives and other hazmat materials, no weapons were on board. Freight 641's locomotives were all but destroyed, including our N&W C-36-7, a Union Pacific C-39-8, a Conrail GP-40, and GP-40-2, Chessie System high-nosed GP-39 and GP-38, and 2 Seaboard System GP-20s and a Southern high-nosed GP-38. We will present you more coverage and later details in this message. Stay tuned for further updates. Trains 1433 and 2354, the east and westbound coal drags from Laurel, Pennsylvania and Blue Mound, Missouri have fully derailed. The consist of 1433 consisted of 9 locomotives. Included are a trio of Union Pacific C-36-7s, a Conrail SD-40, and an SD-40-2, a Wisconsin Central FP-45, Grand Trunk GP-40 and GP-40-2, and a Soo Line GP-20. Train 2354 was a Union Pacific GP-40-2, SD-40-2, Illinois Central SD-40-3, Illinois Central Gulf SD-40, Chicago Central GP-20, a pair of Conrail C-39-8s and a Conrail B-36-7. All are being scrapped. The other 180-plus car manifest pulled by Train 641 was also destroyed. Including in this push-pulling between helper train are a 6-unit front laship of a NNAP, WC39-8, high-nosed GP38, B23-7, Conrail SD40, Seaboard System C36-7, Chassis System GP35, and a Southern GP40-2. Center helpers were a trio of Kansas City Southern GP40-2s and a GP40, Burlington Northern SD40-3, and a C30-7. Rear helpers were a Norfolk and Western high-nosed GP38, SD9, and a Union Pacific C39-8 and C36-7 on the rear. They were also all totaled and scrapped at the crash site. At this time, a total of 37 locomotives and a combined amount of 200-plus freight cars and caboose are being scrapped. An investigation by the NTSB has begun. 14 out of the 15 crewmen were killed in this horrific disaster. One brakeman survived with critical injuries after hitting the rear end of the coal train while rear-ending him at 70 miles per hour. Damages are beyond $12 million. Listen to statements on evacuation procedures by NTSB officials. Fires haven't been contaminated yet, so stay calm. Stay tuned for further updates. The NTSB has speculated that the engineer of Train 139 had been drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana in the cab of the locomotive. The engineer of Train 641 most likely blacked out due to sleep deprivation. Engineer on Train 3177 fell asleep in the cab because he suffered tunnel vision. Engineers of Trains 1433 and 2354 detected fog when they collided. Causes of this accident will be announced after these messages. Stay tuned for further updates. The president of the railroad will explain this horrific loss to the tale of unforeseen circumstances. Emergency action termination. This message has been transmitted by request from the Federal Railroad Administration. Alcohol on Train 139 was confirmed. Fog on Train 2354 was matched up with description. Train 641 and 3177 suffered tunnel vision and most likely color blindness. Train 1433 was also caught in the fog but displayed false readings of signals. The fires have been fully extinguished. An all clear has been given. Thanks for your cooperation during this emergency. We will return back to WTTW for normal programming.